Hello, theologisters, sisters, and misters.
Welcome to the Coven.
All right, so I think actually we're wrapping up your timeline. A lot has happened in your life.
Yeah, no kidding.
Got everything from, different apparitions that you've seen and like the fairies when you were 5 and your near death experience and the demon and everything we finally come to now. Once in a while, if you have anything that you want to update us on, I mean, we'll definitely talk about it, but in terms of getting up to date, like we're in the present now, baby.
Yeah, no, in the present, I can continually tell people what my timeline is and, see what I get. But I don't get timeline stuff all the time. I used to get it a lot more often when I was young, implying that I'm not still young.
I'm ancient.
I'm ancient. I'm an ancient being,
You
guys.
cannot comprehend my age.
You cannot comprehend the things I've seen.
I mean, that's true. I've
That,
tried.
that is pretty true.
I have tried. So, okay, let's get into it. How long ago did this story that you're about to tell happen?
Maybe 3 months, I want to say.
Eh.
Let's talk about death
Woo!
once more.
Every other episode we talk about death.
I'm just fascinated.
I'm just confronted.
I speak to death every morning. We have a cup of coffee together. It's great.
Isn't that Hades?
Oh my god. No, he's the king of the underworld.
Oh, there's a difference.
Yes. So, when I was between the ages of 5 and 6, my second grandfather died. He was my grandmother's second husband.
Huh.
And someone that my family believes to be her guardian angel. Now, because I was 5 or 6 when he died, and they lived in England, I did not get to meet him. I knew absolutely nothing about him, and my grandmother did not talk about her husband because why would you talk about your husband while you're on holiday? Like,
yeah,
maybe, hey, how's your husband? Oh, he's doing grand. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, valid.
But that would be, about it.
I mean,
and I was
especially
5 to
because you
6.
you were like a fucking toddler.
Like, why would I remember that exact stuff?
I just asked if I could have a snack. That's all I asked people.
I would ask constantly if it was my birthday because I wanted a piece of birthday cake.
That's adorable. Oh my god. Every other day. Is it my birthday? No. Is tomorrow my birthday? No.
That was exactly it. Is
That's
next
so
week my
cute.
birthday?
I love that.
I didn't have a concept of time. I was 5 to 6.
Every couple weeks, I gain another year of life.
So about 20 years ago to 21 years ago, my grandfather died, and everyone was crying in the living room, and it was really sad and upsetting. And we believe that he stuck around and haunted my dad for a while because they didn't speak. The last thing that my father said was that he'd never speak to him again.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get to go to the funeral because it was in England. But this story takes place about 2 to 3 months ago when I was sleeping. So my grandfather does not tend to interact with me at all. Now, my mum and I have come to the understanding that we can both interact and speak with ghosts. Me less so. I don't generally, actually, I've never heard one say something, let alone give a request. So it's a bit odd that this situation actually happened.
So that is something that your mom can do, though?
Yes.
Bruh, how often does that happen?
She goes to graveyards to just talk to people.
Huh.
They get lonely.
I mean, yeah, that's adorable, but I'm just like, I bet my mom would love to meet your mom for that reason alone. I mean, you guys remember the whole thing with the Cardinal, hopefully. My mom wondering if her mother was reaching out to her in some way, which update, that Cardinal has not stopped. I can't tell if it's just, it wasn't just like it happened the next day after finding out on TV, watching that Netflix show, like, oh, here's a story about a red cardinal, etc. Anyway, that red cardinal has shown up like once a week.
It's insistent.
It's a very persistent red cardinal, so we're not
It
sure if
insists that you come and let it inside.
he wants in. He's cold. Well, we looked it up, and apparently red cardinals are really territorial, and they can often see their reflection in windows, thinking that it's another bird. So could it be paranormal, or maybe was it paranormal at least the first time? Maybe. I don't know if this delegitimizes it, but yeah, that's the update on the red cardinal. But I bet that my mom would love to talk to your mom and be like, okay, but like, is my mom around? Can you sense that? Can you tell me? Can you tell her I love her, please?
Well, on the subject of love, when I was asleep, I had somebody in the back of my mind that I believed to be my grandfather insisting that I tell my grandmother the numbers 312. And it was just constant 312, 312, 312. Didn't shut up. It was very annoying. And these numbers bear no significance to me at the time, but he was very persistent.
That's such an odd dream to have.
I mentioned it to a friend, you being the friend.
Hello, I am friend.
You happened to tell me at the time, prior to me even mentioning the story, that they were angel numbers.
Yeah, so, and I mentioned this to you earlier, but yeah, when that happened, like around that time, I'd been consuming a lot of like online spiritual content, and that was just something that it seemed to come up quite a bit, was like, like a lot of tarot readers on YouTube and people just talking about their spirituality happen to be more aligned in the Christian Catholic sort of ideology, and not that angels necessarily have to align with that as well, but it very often comes up guardian angel that tends to be associated with, at the very least, Christianity. I'm not sure about Catholicism, but yeah, so I kept hearing a lot about like angel signs, and angel numbers was like a big one that kept coming up.
I told you the numbers first. I told you I had a dream with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure what it meant. And then I told you, after you mentioned angel numbers, that I believed that it was from somebody who was dead. So my aunt actually has communication with my grandmother, whereas I do not. So I messaged her on my Facebook and said, would you be willing to somehow pass the information on to her? Because he wanted her to know. Because I was like, I don't know what else to do other than ask you. I know it sounds a bit crazy. And if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. I just didn't feel right ignoring a request like that. And I said that maybe it's his way of saying that he's being her guardian angel and wants to know that she has someone there 24/7, no matter what. And then I was like, I'm honestly just lost. And she had told me that that's very interesting, and she has no doubt that he's her mother's guardian angel. The significance of 312 for the family was that was his birthday, something that I didn't know.
March 12th?
Yeah, his birthday is March the 12th.
Ha, Pisces. Aries supremacy.
But because my grandmother has Alzheimer's, it's a little difficult for her to be going through a lot of things at once and understanding and hearing things, and things like history that she doesn't remember. It's just very difficult on her. So she said that when the time is right, she will tell my grandmother. And I thought that this would be a lovely story to end my timeline on.
Did she ever pass on the information?
I do not know. I've not asked.
Huh.
Because it's such a sensitive subject. It's like,
I do want to quickly Google what 312 meant again, because now I'm just like curious.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously, if it's his birthday, that already is probably the majority, if not all, of the significance. But it is a prominent angel number. So this says, number 312 is a combination of vibrations of number 3, the attributes of number 1, and the energies of number 2. Number 3 resonates with energy, growth, expansion, and the principles of increased spontaneity, broad-minded thinking, communication, and self-expression, encouragement, assistance, and natural talents and skills. Number 3 also indicates that the ascended masters are around you, assisting when asked and helping you to focus upon the divine spark within yourself and others. Number 1 relates to self-leadership and assertiveness, initiative, instinct, intuition, new beginnings, a fresh approach, motivation, striving forward in progress, and reminds us that we create our own reality realities with our thoughts, beliefs, intentions, and actions. Number 2 carries the qualities of balance and harmony, selflessness and service to others, diplomacy, meditation, and cooperation, faith, and trust. Also relates to your soul mission and life purpose. Number 312 represents society, communication, partnerships, duality, and balance.
Well, there was a partnership. They were married.
So, I mean, it just makes me wonder, what was the significance of saying his birthday?
I don't know. I feel like he didn't want to be forgotten. That was my main thought, is that he didn't want to be forgotten. So I lit a candle for him, just to show him that he was not forgotten. What you should do when a spirit contacts you and does not want to be forgotten is light a white candle for them.
What's the significance behind the white one again?
It can represent anything. However, one of the things it represents is purity.
Right. So I guess, yeah, not wanting to be forgotten, especially if your grandmother does have Alzheimer's, and maybe like remembering his birthday is a positive trigger for her.
Maybe.
That would make sense. But I do find it fascinating that the number, I mean, when I usually say like my birthday, especially being in March as well, you know, I say like 03 or 03 before, you know, the date. So that's just always how it's like whenever you write it out.
Yeah, I write it as the 0 first, but I just say the numbers. I'm like 5'11", 95.
So I'm not sure. I'm just like, it definitely, at the very least, I can say it is a coincidence that his birthday is also this angel number.
That was just kind of, I'm sorry, that's his birthday?
Right. So, I mean, that's why I'm like, it has to be, at the very least, it has to be about his birthday, but I wonder if the angel number does play into it.
I feel like it might. Otherwise, he might have given me 2 numbers to think of.
But, no, so that is fascinating. Did you know much about him, like, at all? You know, of, like, when he was alive?
I knew nothing about this man, other than his death absolutely destroyed my father, which means he was very much loved.
So, I wonder why he would struggle with feeling forgotten unless if it was specifically about your grandmother.
Well, he wanted it specifically sent to my grandmother.
That is true. And you haven't heard from him since?
No, he hasn't spoken to me since, so maybe she did send off the message.
That would be nice.
I think that he contacted me rather than any other family member because I'm more spiritually connected and more inclined to send off a message like that.
Yeah, I think most people would write it off as just saying, wow, that was a weird dream. I probably shouldn't mention that to my grandmother with Alzheimer's because it would make her upset.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, that's what my thought process would have been.
Whereas I was like, hey, auntie, this is very important to him. And I know that she's not doing well, but when she's in a much better state, because, you know, when you have Alzheimer's, you go through good and bad moments.
You know, I've never been around somebody with Alzheimer's, so I wouldn't really know.
They have times when they're more coherent than other times. I've never physically been around her, but my aunt has, and that's what she tells me. And when I talk to her on the phone, she actually remembers my name and everything, and I get really happy.
Aww.
But she doesn't remember her own son, which is a little concerning.
I sense a therapy moment incoming.
It's fine. It's not my therapy that needs to be dealt with.
We're all fine.
Everyone's fine.
So, question. First thing is, were you thinking about your grandfather at all prior to the dream? Had he come up in any conversations with your aunt, with your father? Or was
No.
it was completely out of the blue?
This was completely out of the blue. I hadn't been thinking about my grandfather. I hadn't been thinking about spirits. I hadn't been thinking about doing any witchcraft. I had no thoughts about anything.
Did he contact you before or after his birthday?
Before his birthday. I said that it was, 2 months. It was actually the 16th of January that this conversation happened.
So, I don't know. I feel like part of me is like, oh, it should have been closer to his birthday. But then the other part of me is like, it makes sense that it was before his birthday.
It makes sense that he doesn't want to be forgotten on his birthday. So it would make sense to contact me now so that I could tell people, hey,
throw him
he
a
doesn't
party.
Want to be forgotten. I lit a candle for him and was like,
happy birthday.
I remember you and I love you, even though I never got to meet you.
Yeah.
because he just seems like a nice guy. And my aunt's like, well, he was very stern. He was Irish, but we love him. And I was like, stern Irishman. Sounds about right.
You get along.
I don't think that we would get along so well because I'm also very stubborn.
I feel like he'd appreciate that about you, since you're not
He,
like his kid.
we might have like a kinship of like,
right?
Oh, we've got this in common. You know, you're just like me.
A feisty
like,
one.
Yeah, we got ourselves a feisty one.
I feel like that would have been so cute.
I wish I got to meet him.
Huh. I mean, like, this one is very much, it could go either way for me. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, dreams are dreams. And I know dreams can be very powerful. Dreams were how you were introduced to the Morrigan. You've claimed that you've transcended, realms, all kinds of stuff like that through your dreams. So I know that, like, your dreams can be powerful. And I know, and it is an odd dream to have, but I mean, we've all had odd dreams. And
a
like,
lot of my dreams tend to be premonitions, though.
That's
why I'm so serious about my dreams.
Well, and that's valid.
But you're Emma, you have to be the skeptic.
I have to be. I have to. I'm trying to come up with something that tells me that it either definitely was or definitely wasn't him. But I mean, that's so hard for me to say because I don't know anything about him.
I don't know anything about him.
So we're both in the dark.
I'm like, oh, hi, Grandpa. How are you?
How's heaven? Heaven. Yeah, heaven.
How's heaven, afterlife, purgatory? Where are you?
What are you gonna do? Is heaven a place on earth?
Ooh, babe.
So, what's your take? Like, do you think 110% it was him?
Yes.
I'm inclined to take your word for it. Maybe it's because it's a family thing specifically, and it's you that I don't really want to say, well, but it was probably just a dream. I mean, with you, nothing really feels like just anything. It was just a dream.
That feels like such a compliment.
It's such a diss at the same time. It's like, oh, it was just a shadow. It's like, no, it was a demon. It's like, no, it's just a shadow. Just a dream.
Ah, yes. Just a shadow. Just a dream.
Just deja vu. Like,
deja vu. I just been in this bed.
But yeah, no, I really don't have much to say on that. It feels really cut and dry.
You hear that, guys? I left the skeptic speechless.
Because it's you. I feel like if this was a story that we read on Reddit, I would give it, like 5 out of 10, somewhere in the middle. But knowing that it's you, I'm leaning towards real. I'm leaning towards it was him. And maybe that's just because I really want to believe that. I mean, you didn't know it was his birthday. You didn't know about angel numbers, so neither of those have made sense to you.
I knew they existed.
Yeah, but you didn't know what they were.
No, had no idea.
I mean,
still have no idea, technically.
1, 2s, and 3s are really like what pops up a lot. So like 2:22 p.m. or a.m. or like 11:11, that kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like those are like the big ones that you see a lot. Like when I follow a couple people on Twitter that do like spiritual stuff, and like occasionally they'll be like, "Oh my god, I posted that at like 3:33. That's a sign." Like, and that's where like I kind of is like, But they basically the theory behind angel numbers is that like if you're seeing the same angel number consistently show up around you, like if you look to the clock without thinking and you see that it's, the time is an angel number, and then that same angel number shows up maybe in, I don't know, like some kind of ID number that you're given for something, and you see like 2s just like lined up. The idea is like you consistently see it around you enough that it like starts to feel like a reoccurring symbol. And that's supposed to show that your angel or your guardian angel is around and watching over you.
Do you think that's why so many people like the number 3 so much?
Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. So as I read earlier, so 3s, 2s, and 1s all sort of stand for like different things. But when it comes to stuff like this, it makes me wonder, did we just assign arbitrary meaning and we're looking for patterns because that's what we do as humans, Like, where did those numbers come from? Why are they significant? Numbers are made up. We made up numbers, you know?
Yeah, we did.
But at the same time, it's like, I'm sure that supernatural beings will use our symbols to communicate with us, to so that way we understand them. Like, it really can go either way, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why I'm often so torn on these things and why I'm always so middle of the road. Because I see
Get
it
out
from
of the
both
road!
I see it from both sides so easily. Like, I can totally see like where someone who's purely a skeptic who thinks like none of this shit is real, will write it off like it's nothing, can easily say, "You had a weird dream, dude. You just had a really weird dream. I don't know, just strange dream." And then there's the other side that's like, "Okay, but you weren't thinking about him. The whole point behind dreams is that you're
It's a
processing."
subconscious thing. You don't even need to be thinking about it like at the time that you have the like you don't need to be thinking about it as the last thing. It could be the thing before, which I've
Right.
put into dreams before. I've been like, well, I thought about that the thing before the thing that I fell asleep to. So it was probably that.
Well, so usually what dreams are, or what dreams have been thought to be in a psychological sense, is us processing our day. So when we sleep after like a long day, we'll dream about something that subconsciously was bugging us. And that's why dream symbols are so important, and why so many psychologists believe in symbology, is because like they're all based off of feelings that we all have. So if you're feeling ashamed because of something, there's a couple of symbols that people have just learned to associate with shame, and then those symbols can very well show up in your dream to represent them. Same with fear, same with concern and worry. Like if you're a very paranoid person, maybe you consistently have dreams that somebody's, trying to kill you. Even if you're not thinking that, in real life, it's your brain trying to assess these situations and put it into context for you to better understand. So, when I hear people having weird dreams, especially weird dreams with symbols, my first thought is, what has been going on in your life that would relate? Which is why it's hard for me to say that this is a psychologically based dream, because you weren't thinking about your grandfather at all. It makes no sense, because even in like the weeks prior, you weren't talking about him or thinking about him. You did not know his birthday. You don't know angel numbers. So why would any of those things pop up in your dream?
Exactly. It
That's
just makes no sense.
so, from a psychological standpoint, I feel like it leans supernatural, because it just doesn't. I'm not saying that every dream, has to be super symbolic. Dreams are wacky for a reason, but like that's extremely specific. And when I hear about extremely specific dreams with extremely specific people and extremely specific symbols, if those symbols are not relating to anything that's happening in your life, or projecting from stuff that you think other people might be happening in their life, if it's literally out of the blue and it's concrete symbols and not nonsense, then I mean, I don't see what else it could be.
So I guess case closed on that one.
I don't know. To me, I honestly can't come up with a reason why you would have that dream otherwise. Maybe someone in the audience, maybe if you guys can find some reason, I can't think of any reason why you would have such a concrete, clear dream about stuff that you don't know and don't think about.
Come psychoanalyze me in the
Psychoanalyze Arthur in the
comments.
comments. Do you know something I don't know? Because I'm not a doctor. I got my
Hello,
degree
Dr.
in
Emma. It's great
I
to
got
meet you.
I got my degree in design.
At least it's there on the wall.
That's right.
Design MD.
It's on my shelf. I wish it had an MD. That'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a fun way to wrap up your timeline with something that feels really concrete, to me at least.
It feels very concrete and it feels very like positive because it's not a negative experience that I've had.
Your timeline is insane, your life is insane, and I think that at the very least we can all agree on that as we wrap up.
That's a pretty good Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty solid thing to agree on.
Supernatural, coincidence, meh. Insane, yes.
Glad to be in the Insane Club. Do they have a business card?
No,
Gold sticker?
but I can design one.
Oh shit, that's right. You did go to design school, MD.
Design school. My degree also functions as a soapbox.
Yeah, mine does too, and it's not even a degree.
Yours is just like a little like drawing on the wall that you made.
Look, I made this. The thing on the wall? No.
The wall?
No.
Damn, not even an architect.
The tiny hole on the wall
The
from
tiniest hole.
from the thumbtacks.
But on that note, I guess that wraps up Arthur's timeline. So as we said earlier, we'll continue to add to stuff as things come up.
And thank you for joining me on this journey.
Did you get anything out of recounting all of this?
Some bad memories, some good memories. It's, a mishmash of kind of feel, I did enjoy sharing it with people. So if you've been here for 1 episode, 10 episodes, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. I know Arthur really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. Just because we're finishing up with the timeline doesn't mean we're done with the podcast by any means. We have a lot of really cool stuff that we have planned. And we hope that you guys will continue to stick around.
Join the hype train!
Woo woo, it's on Discord. That's where our hype train is. Just a reminder, if you guys like the content that we do, please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment. That would help us get seen by the algorithm, which is extremely difficult to break into.
Daddy
algorithm is a vengeful one. He has favorites, and we're not one of them. But maybe if you nudge him.
But we could become.
Yeah, we could become his favorite, but that's up to you guys. You have to convince him.
Please help us with Daddy Algorithm.
He's being mean. If you're on another platform and you're able to leave some kind of a review, that would also be wonderful. And yeah, I know I got a lot out of this timeline series, if only for the fact that I learned so much more about you, my best friend. I feel like I have to put a disclaimer and say one of my best friends, because I feel like my other best friend is also watching this.
God damn it, other best friend.
I love you, other best friend. You know who you are.
I know who you are too. I'm coming over for your kneecaps.
And if you don't know who you are, or you think that you know who you are, the answer is probably yeah, you're in there. But yeah, we love you guys. We hope that you'll continue to stick around. Come join us on Discord or in the comments section, discuss with us, debate, and we'll see you in the next one, and stay spooky.
Bye-bye.